Hello everyone, it's Miss Tremblay. So today I wanted to talk about how to properly read a ruler. I've noticed over the past couple of years that there's a lot of confusion over how to use rulers properly, which is totally fine. So I just wanted to do a brief tutorial if you're feeling a little confused by all of these marks that rulers have, to go over the basics of rulers and measurement. So the first area that people get confused on is the two different sides of the ruler. So one side is in inches, and most rulers do say somewhere where the inches are. This one actually does not. So it doesn't say anywhere along the length of the ruler that these are inches, but I know that, an inch is going to be the bigger measurement and the numbers are always going to be bigger. So if your ruler doesn't say which side is inches, just look for the side with the bigger numbers. And then if I turn the ruler the other way, I can see that down here it says metric. So this is centimeters. And so often I will see students start measuring something in inches, and then they'll flip their ruler over and not pay attention and start measuring in centimeters, and their measurements are off. So make sure that you're using one side consistently. So we're not really going to go over the centimeters today. We're really just going to talk about the side with the inches. So let's flip this back over. So each inch is marked with a really large number. And those are pretty easy to understand. Most people know that the large numbers, and the largest mark is an inch mark. And then you'll notice that in between the numbers, there's another mark that's almost as big, another line that's almost as long as the line beside the 1 and the 2. So that's the half-inch mark. And a mistake that I see a lot of students do is I'll say measure something and put a mark every 1.5 inches. And so I'll show students, okay, from this mark here, which is the start of the ruler, not here, the ruler is going to start where the first mark is. So from this mark here to the 1.5 inch mark, that's 1.5 inches. And the inch abbreviation is the two little quotation mark. And then students will go here to the 2.5 inch mark and say, okay, that's another 1/2 inch, or 1.5 inches, I'm sorry. But as you can see, these two distances are not the same. So when you're marking every 1.5 inches, you want to make sure that starting from here, you add another 1.5 inches. So to add another 1.5 inches, I have to go from here to the half mark and then out to the 3. So I'm going 1.5 inches. So this is also 1.5. This whole length, whereas this is just 1 inch. If you're still having trouble kind of doing the math in your head and you're losing track and you need to mark every 1.5 inches, just slide the ruler down to the next mark and then go back out to the 1.5 inch mark. And sometimes it can be hard to keep track, of where you've gone and keep track of your math. So it's totally fine to do that. And then in between, you'll see that there are all these other marks. So these two little lines here are a little bit smaller again than the 1/2 inch, and these are 1/4 inch marks. So if I look, starting at the 2, this is 1/4 inch. Then going out to the halfway mark is another 1/4 inch. Here's 1/4 inch, and here's 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch is literally a quarter. It's 1/4. So you think about dividing the inch into fourths. And that's what these marks are. But sometimes students will forget that you also have to stop at the 1/2 inch mark because it's also 1/4 inch. These slightly smaller marks are 1/8. And then you'll notice that if we look at all the marks together, there are 16 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So in total, the ruler will divide an inch up into 16 small parts. So for really fine-tuned measurements. It's pretty rare that I use marks that small or units that small when I'm working with art, but it is good to know the 1/4 of an inch marks and the 1/8 of an inch marks. So another mistake that I see students doing, and this is going to be important when we do our mandalas, is that I say, okay, make a box, make a square that's 1 inch by 1 inch. So each side is going to be an inch long. So people plop their ruler down and they go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's not a camera distortion. This really isn't actually a square. So each side is an inch long, but the 2 sides here are not parallel to each other, and the 2 sides here are not parallel to each other. So you have more of like a trapezoid than you do a square, and sometimes they're really bad. So how do you make your square actually be a square? So typically, and when we do our mandala projects, this is the way you're going to work. I will measure out a little bit from the edge of my paper. So, or I'll measure from the center of the paper. So you can go either way when we do our mandalas, because we are going to mark the center of our paper. So I'll line up this line on my ruler, not the edge, but the edge of the ruler. And let's say I want my square to be an inch from the edge. I'm going to put a mark there, and then I'm going to slide down and put a mark there. And now I'm going to connect those 2 marks together, and I'll use the inch measurement. So now this side of my square should be parallel with the edge of my paper. And then I'm going to do the bottoms. So again, I'm going to line my ruler up, and I can do that because I can line both of these marks up with the edge of the paper and measure from the 1 to the 2. Line both marks up with the edge of the paper. Measure from the 1 to the 2. And now I can just connect these 2 edges. So now I have a square that's actually a square. And when we do the mandalas, I'll show you one more trick for getting a perfect square in your paper. But this is the basics of how to use a ruler and how to actually get a square on your page instead of something that you intended to be a square but is more of a trapezoid or another geometric shape.